So we will begin our work session of February the 26th in preparation for our March the 2nd board meeting. Short month this month, so a couple of things I want to talk about real quick before we go into the agenda. We do not have a presentation this morning, so it's going to be a fairly light work session for us. Absentee voting is going on right now at City Clerk's office. It is open from Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. The Saturday that we will be open for absentee voting is going to be April the 3rd, and it'll be open from 8 to 12. And Ms. Harden, correct me if am I wrong? Is that right? Only one Saturday?
Well, I'm double checking the schedule right now.
Okay, all right, and I'll make that if it's any different. We have a recycling program that is getting geared back up again. Alderman Beatty and Alderman Sistrunk have been working on that, and we should be starting that. It's going to be located down at the sanitation department. The bin should be put in place and be ready to go at 7:30 on March the 8th. So we are looking forward to having that begin again. And we'll be putting flyers out in the mail, and we'll be using social media as we have been so much so. So, yes, ma'am.
City Clerk's office will be open March the 6th, March the 27th, and April 3rd.
Okay, March the 6th, March the 27th, and April 3rd, those are all Saturdays, and you'll be open from 8 to 12 for absentee voting.
Correct.
So those of you who think you are not going to be around for April the 6th, which is the normal voting time, please come exercise your civic duty and vote absentee at the City Clerk's office here at City Hall.
And March the 6th is the last date to register to vote in the April 6th
Correct.
election.
Okay,
Correct.
all right,
That's 30
thank you.
days
So
prior.
another good piece of information. So
You say March the 6th and what else?
last day to register.
Saturdays, you're going to be on March the 6th?
March 27th
Okay.
and April the 3rd.
And April the 3rd will be the last
Saturday.
last opportunity. So.
Can people register to vote with you on March 6th, or are they going to have to go to the circuit clerk's
No,
office?
they can register with us, and we will take the registration to the circuit clerk.
Okay, good deal. All right. Assuming no other announcements, and I don't see anybody standing up and saying anything, we'll go on. This will be fairly short. We don't have a presentation today. I will say that we had a really good program with our Green Oaks folks last night. Mr. Kemp put together the information associated with the sewer improvement project, and it is on. We did it Facebook Live, so you can refer back to it for people who might have missed it. It is the second phase of our residential improvement projects for our infrastructure. And this one for Green Oaks this was sewer only. Our first one was Pleasant Acres, which was water and sewer. This one is sewer only for the time being, for a couple of reasons, not the least of which water and sewer in Green Oaks are located differently. One's front and one's back of houses in a lot of cases, and sewer is in greater need. And this is not a very invasive process in the sense that we won't be digging up people's yards for the most part, with maybe a few exceptions. And it's really a cool technological advancement in the way this is going to go, and it will pretty much give us a whole new set of sewer lines for 70 to hopefully 100 years. So anyway, it is a further involvement of the board in approaching our future in ways that are, I think, very progressive and far-reaching, so that we're making our neighborhoods ready for the next 50 to 75 years in ways that other communities haven't yet done. Instead of just fixing stuff, we're just wholesale replacing stuff or making things better. So I'm real proud of this board for that stance. I really appreciate it. Okay, having said that, we will go into the agenda. First thing we've got is consideration of the minutes, and Mr. Latimer is not with us this morning. Apparently he's in deposition somewhere, so he has approved these minutes, is that correct?
Yes.
And these are just work session minutes, so if consent agenda works for everyone, put that item on consent. I, at this point, don't have any comments for the board meeting other than probably what we just talked about, just as a reminder for everyone. So if there's something that y'all want highlighted on there for the agenda, let us know and we'll add it in. Presentation of Tva Stem Grants. Terry, you want to just give a little bit of information on that, of what we're going to do?
Yeah, this is about the second year that TVA has made available to schools, and it is through the STEM grants to promote technology and research, stuff like that. So it was a very competitive approach. Each of the schools had an opportunity to submit a project and for funding. And we were very fortunate to have 3 different schools that are actually going to be awarded these: Starkville Academy, Henderson, and
Overstreet.
Overstreet, thank you.
Sure.
Each one of those have different type projects that they're gonna use, and the grants are gonna range from $2,500 to $5,000 each. So
Okay.
that's what it's about.
All right, great. And TVA, this is TVA's partnership with us on this?
Partnership with us, and then they'll be putting the dollars together, and then we'll have TVA representatives here that evening.
Excellent.
Presentation.
Okay, great.
No, that's right. It's about our partnership, and then we're glad that we can benefit here in Starkville.
Awesome. All right, thank you. We don't have any public hearings. We have the extending the proclamation of the local emergency for COVID-19, which I hope doesn't go on that much longer, but we do need to do it again for our continued involvement. Consent on that one for everyone? Okay. This is a consideration of the resolution for the TIF grant, and this is strictly a technicality associated with the fact that the time, because of the ice storm, our normal meeting was pushed to Friday, and the date on the TIF, which is very, very specific as to what we have to have, was the incorrect date. So we have had to change the date to reflect a correct date for advertisement purposes. So all this is just a date reflection. So, Alderman Beatty, are you going to wish to exercise your no vote on that one again?
It's.
Not a big deal, I just would determine consent.
Consent's fine.
Consent's fine? All right, then we'll make consent. Thank you. Airport, this is leasing. Apparently, Mr. Latimer is comfortable that this lease is a regular lease, so consent for that one, and this is just for use of the tillable land. And then we have a certificate of appropriateness for James Geeson. Mr. Howland, is that something that you were involved in, or is that Ms. Corbett?
It was involved with, I'm aware of it.
Okay.
Most of the approvals went back to the house, not the front. The Soil Preservation Commission is having issues.
Okay, so it was approved by them
Yes.
unanimously? Okay. Any issues with the board? Consent for that one? Okay. All right, under engineering, Edward?
He's dialed in.
He's dialed in, okay. This is the Garrett Road Sidewalk project, and we've got a low quote for that one. There he is, right there. Anything you wish to add about any of your engineering items, starting with the low quote from the sidewalk for Groundstone?
I do not, I'll be happy to take any questions on
Okay, all right.
projects we've had in the hopper and been working on, and got favorable quotes back, and all of them are funded out of the bond.
Okay, all right. Any questions on that? Consent on that?
I'll add the dollar amounts.
Yes,
from the-
please do.
This low quote.
Yes.
I'll add that.
Low quote from Montgomery Street Sidewalk Project.
Where's that one at?
Well, I'll let you,
It's on the east side of Montgomery. There's a segment missing right in front of CVS that takes you up to the intersection. So there'll be an ADA ramp there. We'll have a crosswalk across 12. And then on the other side, a receiving ADA crosswalk that will connect to that sidewalk that kind of runs in front of Harvey's Shopping Center. So it'll provide that connection. It really goes all the way down to Yellow Jacket Drive.
is that CVS, is that the one where those big covers are on the equipment there? Or is it on, you said east side, so it'd be the east side of Montgomery, right?
East side of Montgomery.
Okay, so that is where those are gonna be, yeah.
For some reason, there's a short
Stretch there?
remaining link there that's not connected. Of course, if you go west on 12, kind of in front of the Sprint Mart, that's eventually going to connect all the way down to Jackson as well.
Right, okay, thank you. And we've got the quote amount on that one too that we can put in?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Consent on that? Okay, thank you. Accepting the reimbursement from Atlas, that's in your ward, Alderman Vaughn, along the West Main and Harlem in that area, for the work they did there. They are paying us for their amount of improvements that they contribute to us putting it back the way it was to begin with. So consent on that one? Okay. Claims docket, we.
Mayor, I've joined, just letting you know. This
Okay.
is Chris.
All right, Mr. Latimer, thank you very much. Anything that you wish, we're up to claims docket, anything you wish to add to any of those items that you have passed on, the minutes and the tillable land issue with the airport?
And did y'all get the TIF resolution in under board business?
Yes, we did.
Okay, no, those were the items. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you very much. Third item here is the, wait a minute, I'm sorry, what did I miss here? That was finance. Mechanical service agreements with Brislin for our HVAC equipment, which apparently geared itself up to 80 degrees yesterday before we could get it shut down, so it definitely needs some work. Can we get consent on that one? All righty. And then we have a firefighter's assistance grant for a mini pumper, 37 sets of turnout gear, and 66 radios with a city match of $50,000. And that is, we've got that budgeted, is that right, Chief?
No, not yet. We have to apply now, so
Okay.
we could, if we did get it committed, but it'd be later this year.
It'll be in the
Probably,
next, in the
November.
next budget.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Alderman Sistrunk.
Making the note.
Cue that one up for the 21-22 budget year. All right. And we'll be ready for that one, so, all right, consent on that. And Mr. Parks and Mr. McCarter and Chief Yarborough are looking to go to training and the Fire Chiefs Conference, so any issues with that? Consent for that? All right. HR, any names I can't pronounce today, Nav? Michael Cooper and William Evans as certified police officers. Consent for that. Authorization to hire. And authorization to hire Tatiana Walker as a dispatcher. All right, consent for that. And then transferring Trent Helms from Parks and Rec as maintenance manager to back to the Starkville Fire Department. He got tired of working in the.
Really?
He got tired of working in
Ice and
landscaping
cold.
and decided to go back to his original love, I guess, this was the fire department. So any issues with that? All right, consent for that. Under parks, we have field usage agreements. We have 2 of those, actually. Mr. Latimer, you passed off on those as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so items 1 and 2 are the Starkville Christian School and then the First Baptist Church. Consent for both of those? All righty. And we have authorization to accept the lowest and best quote for the trash cans, and these are all coming in under. Is that right, Mr. Doherty?
Yes, ma'am. So
Awesome.
collectively, the trash cans and the picnic tables are gonna save us with this about $55,000.
That is awesome. So consent for those,
Consent.
and all with good news for both of those.
Can I jump in here
Yes.
and say that I had the opportunity yesterday to go out to the new Cornerstone Park and look at the walking trail as part of a class project that Bob Bruzak and the Landscape Architecture Department is doing. And it is coming along really well, and it's going to be a really special park for us when it's completed. I got pretty excited about it when I was out there. I hope everybody marks their calendars for opening date at the end of this year.
Well, and at some point in time, when we get a little more clement weather, if there's such a thing as inclement versus clement weather, I'd like us all to go down and take
Oh,
a
it's
tour.
wonderful. It's wonderful.
I
So you
think-
can drive around
Yeah.
out there?
You
Not
can
without getting
walk
stuck?
around, you can
Really?
drive some, it depends on how much rain we've had.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think we're gonna need to wait for some drier weather for sure, but I would love for the board to kind of get out there and wander around, take a look at it,
I'll
so.
put that
Top
in.
notch.
Okay, awesome, great. Okay, so, and the next one is accepting a change order again with, what is it, installation of sleeves and irrigation,
Yes,
and that is also a net reduction in cost, right?
correct.
So, all good news. Consent, all right, thank you very much. Police Division, we have, what do we have here? Attending an interview and interrogation class. And that is, do we have an amount that goes with that, Chief? Do you know?
I do, Mayor. It's $325 per officer. And
Okay.
then the room and board.
Okay. Could we get those numbers on there, Ms. Harden?
I will.
Okay, consent for that?
Consent.
Okay. Police Department for purchasing radar equipment, and that is a reimbursable, 100% reimbursable grant. Consent? Okay. And request approval to allow Starkville Police Department SWAT members to attend the U.S. Marshals Service Regional Fugitive Training Task Force. And this is, do we have an amount on that one?
It's free, Mayor.
It's just a free one, okay, so it would just be transportation on our part?
Yes, ma'am.
Consent for that?
Consent.
And then the consideration of a lease agreement with Utility Associates for the body worn cameras. This is the big ticket item, guys. This is that very specialized body cameras that we are excited about getting. So consent on that one. Mr. Latimer, again, that contract or that agreement is satisfactory at this point?
It is. Utility worked with us on the terms, and it's good to go. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Consent for that one. And then last but not least, Mr. Kemp has authorization to purchase the dump conveyor, and this is for our wastewater treatment plant. And that is part of the bond monies? Okay, consent for that one. And then upgrading the AMI handheld software system with a licensing fee that goes with that. Consent for that?
Consent.
Okay. And then last but not least, consideration of abandonment of the fuel storage tanks. This is something we've been looking at for quite some time, and we've finally gotten back around to getting some numbers, and Neil Schaefer, John Cunningham has been working with us on this as well. There's a couple of other items, but in this one, we'll be glad to get this one done. We've been very happy with Fuel Man and the accountability and the savings that has gone with that. So I will look forward to us cleaning this up. So consent for that, if everyone's good with that? Okay. All right, excellent. We have nothing for executive session, so I anticipate us to have an uneventful meeting on Tuesday night, and we appreciate everyone being here today. If there's anything that y'all want to add to the agenda as it relates to comments or anything like that, just be sure to let us know before Lisa prints out the last one associated with the new numbers that we need to put in there. So, anything else, anybody? All right, I think probably next time is there anything that anybody wants for a presentation that you feel like you haven't been advised on recently? We got any topics that anybody wants to hear about that we can go on? Okay, all right.
Would the man from Senate, Bart, would he be able to come, if that thing starts moving, that sales tax thing, kind of give us some information about?
If it seems to be moving forward, I will ask him to come give us further information on that. Him and Rob both, because they were both, I mean, Rob, the House has already dealt with it in an affirmative way. I don't think the Senate is necessarily at this point going to do that, but even so, it may be something worth hearing about, just because I imagine it's going to come up again in some form or another, if not this legislative session, then the next one.
It's not going to pass eventually.
Yeah, so it may be something worth having a presentation on, so we'll look at doing that, so. Okay, all right, and in the not too distant future, we'll probably have another build grant update and presentation, so. But if you think of anything in the meantime, let me know and we'll move it forward, so. All right, thank you everyone, have a great weekend, and we will see folks on Tuesday night, or we will hear from folks on Tuesday night. Thank Mr. Latimer, we'll adjourn, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. See y'all later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye-bye.